Hello everyone, welcome to one of our tutorial topics for today, that is delegate in C Sharp. Welcome to our channel, that is Code Virtual, and in this channel we generally discuss the basic fundamentals of each Microsoft technology, and basically we are focusing on .NET, PowerShell, Azure, or any uh, technology if our user wants to learn. So today we are going to learn what are delegates in C Sharp. So let's go through one presentation first, and after that we will move to uh, one basic demo of explaining delegates in C Sharp. In this video we will go through introduction of delegates as well as use of delegates. So delegates, what are delegates? If we go through MSDN, that is Microsoft Developer Network, so MSDN described a delegate is a type that references a method. Once a delegate is assigned to a method, it behaves like that method. The delegates method can be used like any other methods with parameter and return values. Basically, delegates serve as a function pointer that was in C++. So basically these are the function pointers. So .NET C Sharp doesn't provide uh, pointers, so they have generated delegates, and delegates works same as of function pointers in C++. So what is the basic notation for delegates? First we have to provide the access modifier, that is public, private, protected. After there is a keyword, that is delegate in C Sharp library. We have to return type, delegate name, and the parameters. So this is the diagrammatical view of the delegates behavior. So in this diagram, if you can see, we are defining delegate name, that is access modifiers, delegate keyword, return type, delegate type, and the parameters, right? And we are making the object of this delegate and assigning print number. And what is print number is? Print number is a method, but remember the signature of the method generally resembles with the signature of the delegates. Like the return type of delegate is void and the parameters are integer. So in same function we are assigning that function to delegate is that the function have the return type as a void and integer number. Then only you can assign uh, your function to the delegate, and delegate directly calls that function. So how we can invoke the delegates? Delegates can be invoked directly if you are making the object of the delegate and you are passing delegate object with the parameter, then it generally calls all the methods that are matching with the signature, right? And there is one function that is invoke. So in this function we are generally making assigning the object by print number function, and once print number function is assigned, so we are calling, there is a method that is invoked with the delegate object. So print del dot invoke and the parameters, so it will directly call your delegates. So invoke function is used for calling the delegate. So let's switch to the basic definition of the delegates in C Sharp. So let's move to Visual Studio. So we have a sample program that is describing the delegates, right? So we have one simple delegate, definition of delegates. We are just giving it the definition of delegate. So what this line signifies, that we are making the delegate, that is add delegate, and it will call all the functions that are matching with the signature of this delegate, like the function which have return value as an int, and two parameters having integer type, int num1, int2, right? So let's move to one function we have defined the return type is integer, and there are two parameters same as the delegate, integer, and there are two parameters. Well, access modifier doesn't depend upon the calling of the delegate, right? So we have the delegate, we have the function. What this function is doing, it is just adding this number 1, number 2, right? And what we are doing now, we are just making the object of this delegate. Add delegate func1, this is the object name. New add delegate and add. That means we are just calling this function add by delegate object. And what we are doing now, once we have the function, that means we can call this func1 dot invoke and the passing the parameter, because add have integer and num2, that means we have to pass the integer and num2, and it is just giving the number, right? So suppose we have another method, public static int subtract int num1, int num2, right? So let's copy that stuff so that we can save our time now. So since it is a minus, so I will put as a minus sign, right? So since this function is also uh, having the same parameter that of integer, return type as int, there are two parameters of int type, right? So we can also call this function using delegate. So if I directly pass this sub and this, so let's go for first. If I pass this add, then it will, we are making 7 and 2, the output will be 9, you can see. And since it is also subtract is also matching with the delegate, so we can directly pass this subtract, right? Save it. 7 and minus 2 is equal to 5, so it would be 5. We need to just make subtraction and this is your subtraction, this is your subtraction. So now it will clearly specify the method subtraction is equal to 5. So okay, it will be here subtraction. So if I pass it, it will subtraction is equal to 5, so you can see. So in short, we can define any method that matches with the signature of that delegate. So suppose I am calling int num3, so it will just go through the compile time error, and what this error specifies that no overload of sub matches with the delegate prompt. Why? Because in subtract we have the 3 parameters, but in delegate we have only 2 parameters. So remember, with the delegate we can only call those methods that matches with the signature of that delegate, like return type, number of parameters, and type of parameters. So if we are removing this third variable, we are all set. So let's back to our PPT. So there are basically two type of delegates. One is single delegate and Second one is multicast delegates. Multicast, what are multicast delegates? Multicast delegates is calling the delegates multiple times, or we can call multiple delegates in a single call. So how we can do that? We can plus equal to, that means if we are concatenating our delegates object into one to another, then it is called multicast delegate. And if we are minusing the delegates, then we are removing the one of the chain of the delegates. So if we go to the definition, the delegates can point to multiple methods. A delegate that points multiple method is called a multicast delegate. The plus operator adds a function to the delegate object, and the minus operator removes an existing function from a delegate object. To work with the multicast delegate, delegate signature should return voice. Otherwise, only last method results can be fetched. What that statement means, that if you are calling multiple delegates, then your delegates return type should be void. Why? Because you are concatenating multiple delegates, and when we will concatenate 1 to 2 to 3, then a return type of 1 will be override by 2, and return type of 2 will be overridden by 3. So that means we should have the methods in the multicast delegates that have void return type. So let's switch back to our this. So we have one of the program that I will copy for the understanding. So we are moving show delegate, that we have made a simple program to show you what is multicast delegate exactly are. And we have this one. Right, if we build it, it should build succeeded. So what this is doing is, we have the multicast delegate, right, which have return type as a void, and string parameter one, there is one parameter, and that is of string type. So what is it is doing, we are making the object of this delegate and passing the first method display, right, because it is a void return type, and concatenating this object with the second method, that is show. That means this delegate, if we will pass as hello, then it will this delegate will do what it will do. It will call the display method first, and after that it will show method, right, method show, right. So first it will it will do this s hello, then it will call display, and what is display is calling hello, and what after that it is show will be passed to, so that is hello show. So output will be hello hello Scott Scott. Why? Because it will, for first method, it will, this delegate we are passing as a delegate object, so it will call display show. Once it will finish, then it will call this method, then it will Scott Scott. So if we go to this, we will see hello hello Scott Scott. What it is doing, it is doing as a multicast delegate. That means we are calling, we have two functions which have returned as a void, and we have the requirement to call these methods in a single call. Then we can use a multicast delegates, and what they are doing, we can add our delegates in multiple types, right. So suppose we have the requirement that we need to add void show code virtual, show code virtual, right, string channel name, right. So what we are doing it, we are just channel name. So what it will do, if we are going to concatenate this, so what it will do, we have to do the s plus equal to show channel, show virtual, show code virtual, right? And this, so what it will do, and we are just calling code virtual, we are virtual, right? So what it will do, we are just adding one more method that we have recently added to our delegates. So it will do hello Scott code virtual. So you can see the output code virtual. What is doing, it is just calling. So in this way we can call multicast delegates. We can, in this example we are just adding, suppose we have the requirement, later the requirement that in the multicast delegate we don't need to show this method. So how we can remove this method from the multicast delegates? Suppose there is a condition that we don't have to show the channel name. How we can do that with a multicast delegate? It is just simplifying. You have to put minus here. It will not show you the code. That means we are just concatenating display show, but we are just removing show code virtual. Right? So that means we don't need to call this so that is your delegates, multicast delegate is all about. So let's switch back to this. So at last I will suggest to go to surf the net for the delegates, because it is a wide explanation in the internet for the delegates. But delegates provides as a function pointer in C++, and we can call all the methods that matches with the delegates definition, or the delegate student type, the methods that are matching with the delegate student type, number of parameters, type of parameters, can be called directly through the delegates. That means delegate is a pointer to the functions that matches with the its definition, the signature of the delegate itself. So shortly, the points to remember is delegate is a function pointer. It is a reference type data type. That means it's a reference data type, not a value type. Public delegate void function name. So this is the syntax: return access modifier, delegate keyword, return type, your delegate type, that means delegate name, and the parameters. A method that is going to assign a delegate must have the signature as a delegate, that we have explained again and again. Delegates can be invoked like a normal function or invoke method. We can directly call the delegates, or there is a function that we can and it is invoked, that we can call along with the delegate object. That means if the delegate object is abc dot invoke, and then the parameters. Multiple methods can be assigned to the delegate using plus operator. It is called multicast delegate. Suppose you have to requirement that you need to call multiple delegate functions in a single delegate, then you can just concatenate. You need to concatenate using plus sign, and delegates will do its task, and it is called multicast delegates, right? So friends, this was our short explanation on delegates. You can go through our channel. If you want to explain it more, let us know. We will find another stuff for you regarding delegates. It would be good, then you can, if you can subscribe this channel, that is Code Virtual, and just press the bell icon so that you have the latest uh, updates from this channel itself. So bye for now. Thank you.